So if you're watching this, then you've arrived inside the Bluelight Police Recruitment Career Development Facebook group, over 25,000 members and counting, and you're one of those special members of this group. You're a person that's going to make it so special through your interaction, through your engagement, taking part in all aspects of the group to ensure that you've got a massive foundation for success in your police recruitment journey. I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and I'm the founder of this group. Several years ago, I founded it with just one person. I thought it'd be a great idea to have a community of like-minded people who are working towards the same goal to succeed in the recruitment process to join the police and to have amazing careers once in the police. We've also got a program for people who are already in the police to help support them with promotion boards and specialist interviews progressing their career. But that's not what this welcome is all about. This is for you because you're in the recruitment process. I'm going to talk to you about how to get the best use out of the group to ensure that the group serves you as best as it possibly can do. So there's three things I'm going to take a look at. I'm going to take a look at the sort of services and resources you can expect to find, the strategy for online assessments and interviews, final interviews, face-to-face interviews and online interviews, and also up here looking at a roadmap for success, so that you've got some accountability for your actions, not just to yourself but to other people, to ensure that you are successful and you don't start slipping off or going off at tangents. All right, so it shouldn't be too long, should be around 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. Let's see how we get on. So first of all, the sort of services and resources that we provide within the group. What we're looking to do is provide a foundation for you. Now, there's a lot of information we provide, from live broadcasts, which often go live impromptu. We must get this down to a fixed time at some point. We provide daily posts where we'll point you towards various videos and also other documentation, guidance that's going to be useful for you. And also there'll be sort of monthly campaigns, monthly things that you can get involved in, challenges, summits, months of action, where we go into various niche parts of the recruitment process. So plenty of activities. Also, there's plenty of questions that are being asked, plenty of advice and guidance that's being offered by other group members. And by all means, get stuck in. You may be thinking, oh, someone's asked this question before. Yeah, they probably have. The group's been going for 7 years. That doesn't mean to say that your question isn't legitimate. So please do get involved. Ask questions. If the question has already been answered elsewhere, people might just point you to the link. Or if it's a question which isn't inappropriate for any reason in the group, I'll give you some feedback and I'll point you in the right direction. Most of the questions, 99% of the questions you're going to ask are questions that have been asked before and questions that are going to get asked again. So no matter what you think about the question, just go ahead and ask it. Go ahead and ask it. There's a really friendly vibe in the group. Like I said, 25,000 plus people there. We very rarely get anyone who's spamming us or putting anything in there that's inappropriate. And if that happens, please do press the report button and we will get on it straight away. But very rarely does that happen. We get Taylor Swift tickets for sale perhaps once every 2 or 3 months. Actually, we don't get those tickets for sale anymore because she's already done a tour, but you know what I mean, don't you? All right, so that's the first thing, how to access the resources. Remember, they're just a foundation. They're just a foundation. We don't share everything that's in the vault, of course, because we've got an academy program where we help support people through one-to-one coaching, through small group practice webinars, recordings of webinars, an absolute ton of online material. So, we're not giving you access to all of that, but we're giving you access to some of that to kickstart your recruitment journey. Now, for some of you, that's enough. You don't need anything else. It's like exams at school. There's always a small number of people, wasn't there, that were just like awesome at exams. No matter what happened, this small number, they just crack the exams every time and they're getting 8s and 9s. And that's just the way the world is. And then there's the rest of us. So there's all the rest of us. We're the ones that need support and some help. And so for some of you, you'll just sail through the recruitment process and you'll be absolutely fine. For the rest of you, there's some confusion, some frustration, some not sure about, and we're here to provide that kind of support. And actually, there's a lot of research on this. The research tells us, it was the Chief Inspector, Gareth Stubbs from Lancashire Constabulary, who did this. He's now Dr. Gareth Stubbs, actually. He's working for University of Abu Dhabi in their Department for Criminology, last I heard. And he did some research that found that if you've got a close social tie with the police, your chances of success in the recruitment process are 1 in 3. If you don't have that close social tie in the police, your chances of success are 1 in 23. So there's a massive gap. 1 in 3 if you know someone in the police, 1 in 23 if you don't. So most of the people who come to us are people who haven't got contacts in the police. So we're like proxy contacts in the police. Myself, my colleagues in the Bluelight Academy, we've all got an amazing amount of experience, decades worth of experience, management experience and coaching experience in the police, over 200 years worth of management and coaching experience in the police sector. So there's not much that we can't answer for you in terms of the questions that you might have. Okay, let's take a look at your strategy for success. I'm going to talk to you now about this part here, there. Some of the things that people just don't do for whatever reason. And it doesn't really matter what the reason is. Most people don't do these things. And these simple things I'm going to talk to you about. And you're going to think, gosh, that's so simple. But ask yourself the question, am I doing those things now? Probably not. If you are, then great. But if you're not, it means that you need to do these simple things. And they really are. First of all, we've got a plan for the assessment centres, whether they're online, whether they're situational judgment tests, scenario-based, written exercises, online interviews, whatever they might be. We've got to plan for those. We've got to plan for our interview. And we've got to start preparing as well. Now, one of the things that people do is they make the mistake of thinking, okay, it's a linear process. First of all, I will prepare for the first stage, whether that's an online assessment, whether it's a situational judgment test, behavioural styles questionnaire, something about maths, something about reasoning, whatever it might be, whatever that thing might be, because you might be watching this and you're not actually from England and Wales, you might be from Canada, America, New Zealand, Australia, or any other English-speaking country or country where people speak English, or you just speak English. So there's a variety of different entry points into the recruitment process. And what most people do is they start preparing and planning for that. Because it's online though, you could get the results back within minutes or hours or even just a day or two. And then straight away, you could be invited to the next stage of the process. Now that next stage might be a far more in-depth online assessment. Online assessments are becoming increasingly popular because they're a great way of cheaply sifting down the number of candidates. So you might have thousands of people applying for just 100 places or even less. So they've got to sift the numbers down. So you've just made the big mistake of, I'll prepare for this and then I'll prepare for the next stage once I get the result of the first stage. It doesn't work like that. Well, might work for some, but not many, because what happens now is you've got the result, you've got an invite to start the next stage in a couple of days, or it might be a couple of weeks, or it might be a month or two, but it's probably just going to be a couple of days. And the problem there is that you're now in a panic because you're thinking, I've just not prepared, I've not got enough time. You're in a bit of a tailspin, you're not confident, you get frustrated, and you're not going to achieve what you initially hoped you would achieve when you first put in that application form. You're not the best version of yourself. You're a confused version of yourself, and that's just not good. Same thing with the final interview. We get so many people saying, I'll start preparing for my final interview. This is the final board that you'll have in front of real people, or you might have doing it over Teams or Zoom. But invariably now, we're a few years out of COVID, it's in front of real people. Excuse me. You'll be sat in front of real people. And that requires a huge amount of preparation. A huge amount of preparation. You don't want your first rehearsal to be the day of your final interview or your panel or whatever they choose to call it. There's some kind of final interview assessment process. You don't want your rehearsal to be on that day. And so we need to prepare for that as well. And so you're seeing a picture emerge. People are leaving it until the last minute. They're leaving until they've got a pass confirmed, and then I'll start studying for the next bit. And then if I succeed in the next bit, I'll start studying for the next bit. Completely the wrong way of going about it. I advocate that we put together a plan. I'm going to talk to you in a moment more about a roadmap. And that plan, that roadmap will outline how initially, say 60% of your time would be spent on preparing for your initial assessment, 20% of your time would be spent preparing for the next part, the online assessment, the more in-depth bit, and 20% of your time will be spent working towards the final interview. And once you've got through your first online assessment, the SIFT, behavioural styles questionnaire, the verbal reasoning, whatever it might be, We then moved to 60% of my remaining time now will be spent on preparing for the next online assessment, and 40% of my time will be spent preparing for the final interview. Is this making sense? I hope so, because this is the way to succeed. Over all of that, start focusing on your fitness, because again, we find people getting all the way to the end of the process and then thinking, oh, I need to lose weight. I need to lose X amount of kilos or pounds, and I'm not fit enough. I need to get fit for the process. Now, you're really stuck now because you've got to the end of the process and you've just got weeks to go to lose a massive amount of weight, or you've got weeks to go to gain a certain level of fitness, and it's just not going to happen. And I've seen this play out so many times. So across all of that, start making sure that you're working towards the fitness level that's required, and that you have got your within the weight limits required as well if your force department that you're applying to has those sort of limits. Now remember, it's the police. If you turn up and say, oh, I don't think I'm fit enough because I've not been preparing. Well, do you know, years ago when I first joined in 1985, I would have been failed for that. I had five fitness tests altogether. And each time I did that fitness test, unless I improved my result, I would have been sent home. They want to see some dedication, some enthusiasm, some commitment. So yeah, I know it took a lot longer, and there's a lot more stages back in the 1980s. So it's a lot simpler now. It's a lot easier now in many ways. But don't make that error. Make sure that right from the offset, you're preparing for your fitness. You're preparing for the health requirements that you'll be set in front of you. Because you can't just turn up and go, actually, my body mass index is 2 points over. I'm 32 and actually I should be 30. Can you give me a break? This is the police. They're just going to go, well, no, it says 30. And you're going to go, yeah, but I'm only a little bit over. Yeah, but it says 30. And that's what the police are like. They might be a bit flexible depending on the police department and the police force, but probably not, because they've got certain parameters, and unless you fit within those parameters, then it's goodbye. Other things that you shouldn't be doing in your planning and preparation: don't do things like get a tattoo. Like, just don't. and don't start doing daft stuff that's going to, I know it sounds like a dad speech this, but just don't do daft stuff that's going to get you some kind of contact with the police, because everything just collapses at that point. All right, what else? Okay, practice. Most of you just aren't practicing enough. Most of you are not practicing at the levels that are going to get you the absolute pass that you're looking for, the really high mark pass that you're looking for. What this involves, again, is just really simple things. So it's a bit like if you wanted to get fit for a triathlon. You wouldn't be leaving it until the last minute, and where you only do like 5 or 6 reps of whatever the thing is on the last week, and you only do it for 2 days of that week. I mean, you wouldn't, would you? You'd be practicing every day. You'd be doing the reps. This is no different. 3 things that you need to do for success in anything in life, not just the police recruitment process. The first one, do the reps. And in terms of doing the reps, you're thinking the reps of what? The uncomfortable stuff. So if you find values-based interview questions really tough, practice those. Start doing those. And the third element is just do those things every day. So do the reps, do the uncomfortable stuff, do it every day. And when I say do the uncomfortable stuff, I don't mean make notes. I mean actually practice. And then evaluate your performance. Get someone else to watch you, give you feedback, work out what went well, what didn't go well, and what you need to do better in the future. I know it sounds like hard work, but it is. If you want that precious uniform, the badge, the warrant card, it involves hard work. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. Even if your police department, police force is crying out for people to apply, there are still certain standards to reach. And if you don't meet those standards, you won't get in. You just won't get in. Even if they're actively recruiting, it's not a case of they'll accept anyone. So in England and Wales and the United Kingdom, even when the police were pursuing recruitment because of a government initiative at a massive rate of knots, it was called Uplift. They were recruiting an additional 20,000 police officers in the space of 3 years, over and above what they'd normally recruit. It's a massive recruitment drive. Even then, even in the biggest force in the country, only 1 in 8 people were successful. So it's not something that's going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You need to work hard for it. And so the roadmap, we need to plot out a roadmap. We need to plot out a roadmap for success. We need to make sure, roadmap, there it is, got the wrong one. That's the first one. Roadmap, there we are. We need to plot out a roadmap for success. Now, what this means is creating time. Now, if you think about the time that's available for you as a bookshelf, so there's our bookshelf, there's the ends of the bookshelf. Your bookshelf at the moment is probably packed full of books, which are things like making food to eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner, walking the dog, going to the gym, hanging out with friends, going to work, going to sleep, doing all the things that you normally do, and you've packed out your week. Every day is busy. I know, we're all busy people. But how many of you are like doom scrolling for an hour during the day? How many of you are just sat on a sofa watching something pointless on the TV? How many of you are doing something that you just think, actually, I could be doing something better? That book needs to come off the shelf. It's not to say that you can't doom scroll and hang out and watch something on Netflix or Amazon Prime. It doesn't mean to say you can't do those things in the future, but that book needs to come off your bookshelf and it needs to be replaced by the one that's called Preparing for the Police Recruitment Process. You've got to devote time to it, and you've got to diary that in and be accountable. Now, this is something we do in our academy program, because every individual in our academy program has got an assigned coach who holds you to account. So by the next time you meet, they will expect you to have sent them certain materials. A video recording of you answering a particular question, a written exercise that you've had to go at, and then you'll debrief it in the one-to-one. So you've got an accountability partner. Now, for those of you who don't become members of our academy, and that's fine, like I said before, some people pass without our help. Find yourself an accountability partner, someone who's going to hold you to account for the roadmap that you've created. Or if you're working with us, we actually create that roadmap with you so that you've got something that you know works, it's tried and tested. So there you go, folks. We've taken a look there at the resources and services that are available to you, strategies for success in online assessments and interviews, and also the need to have a roadmap. Now, there's plenty more coming. Watch out for future emails that are coming. If you've got to this stage in this video, thank you for watching. If you're thinking this all sounds too good to be true, then go below, just like check the testimonials, listen to people who've been through our program, what they've got to say about it, look at what people have written about it. Those are testimonials that we've worked really hard to get. We work really hard so you can be successful. Watch out for future emails where you'll find more value, more videos that explain various aspects of the recruitment process. No matter where in the world you are, this is going to help support you. It's going to provide the foundation that you need. I'll speak to you soon and I'll catch up on the other side. Bye-bye for now.